Uh-uh. I don't know.
All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
All right. Let's go. Good evening. I'm Idika Imeri. This is our Friday night conference. When are you going to find your voice? When is it that you are going to find your voice? And when is it that you are going to use your energy? Things may happen to you so much that the possibility of you losing, being unable to talk, and being unable to act will be very big. Everyone are not the same. One of the things that I said to every human being who are following our broadcast is this. When it comes to the issue of marriage and relationship, do not go into it. Don't date anybody. Don't relate with anybody. Don't enter into a legal marital contract with any human being unless you have sat yourself down and trained yourself on how to fight. I'm very, very serious over what I'm saying. Excuse me. Because every human being who is trying to date you or relate with you or marry you has already seen other people, other men, other women, and they didn't go for those people. Majority of people who want to be in a relationship or who want to get married have spent time to size you up. They have spent time to size you up and been able to convince themselves that they will be able to con you, deceive you, lie to you, manipulate you. They've been able to think that through carefully. And if you are hardcore, you are the type that fights back, they will not want to pursue that relationship. And majority of people who goes into marriage and relationships, they go into it based on the fact that they believe that if they become deceitful tomorrow, that they will be able to manipulate you and win in the court. They have been able to, there are people before they go into relationship have already trained themselves in the art of what we call manipulative social engineering. What does that mean? They have learned how to be morally sound They've trained themselves on how to be respectful, how to behave, but they have absolutely no character. Let me give you an example. The current president is gifted in the art of manipulation and the art of salesmanship. The current president of the United States is a master manipulator, master deceiver. He doesn't keep any friend. Everything is a business. That's all it is. What is the profit? That's all it is. And that is why those who have worked for him have also learned. They've also learned that, look, this man is not who he said he is. He doesn't keep any friend and can also betray you at any time. Because anybody, according to him, can be sold, can be bought and sold. So for many years, he has learned the art of the kind of leadership that he's doing is the type that we called, this is the way we put it, make a situation which is not bad to look very bad. Talk bad about everyone and make yourself the best. I mean, it's just one kind of leadership. Put fear in people. Make people, tell people that everything is out of place. Nothing is good. Nobody who came before him has done anything for the American people. Arouse their emotion towards hatred, bitterness, anger, and shout it out loud. Be a dog. It's one form of leadership. Because you cannot lead the people with intellect only. The key to success is emotion. Please write that down. The key to success is emotion. Success is in your ability to tap into the emotion of people. Mary, please write that down. The key to success, that's a powerful key, is emotion. Either you make the people very angry, or you make them very sad, or you make them to go and fight and kill, or you make them to be very happy. That's just it. A lot of people spend time to learn about you, to think about you, to watch your ways, and then decide to move on with you. Because they know that if conflict arises, they know how to put fear in you and manipulate you out of fear and win. Many men and women never married someone who is their equal, someone in their class. They marry people who are not their class. They marry people that they can easily manipulate. They can easily lie to. And if somebody can lie to you, can deceive you, they will never respect you. If somebody can con you, manipulate you, deceive you, lie to you, they will never have respect for you. And when that happens, majority of people, they will simply have no voice, live in fear, and lose their personality to the other person. And everything the other person says becomes law and become a thing of panic. That's why I advise people, never marry any human being out of race or out of culture or out of religion. Religion should be the last reason why you should marry anybody. Religion should be the last reason why you should relate with anybody or marry anybody. Because people want to know what you like best so that they can use that side of you to manipulate you. And in a lot of ways, when bad things happen to you, you will lose your voice, you will lose your power, you will become powerless, hopeless, and helpless. That happened to Joseph. Let's look at the Bible at how bad things, very terrible thing that you have never suffered, has happened to some people. But they found their voice. They found their place. And they spoke out for themselves. My job is to be an oracle for God, from God, and an oracle for you. That's why I exist. I will never see anybody treat you wrong and allow it to continue. There are lots of marriages that should be dissolved quickly. Others should be mended, should be fixed, or restored, or entered into quickly also. So it depends on what is going on. What happened to Joseph should have made him to be depressed, stressed out, and in fact to have a heart attack and die. The way he was treated, and finally, he was sold. Then, the way he was treated in Potiphar's house, then the way he was treated by people that he was kind to. The same thing with Jacob, his father. The way Laban treated him. The way things did not turn out right between him and Esau. But then, he found his voice. Many of you do not know the name of Jacob. Jacob is not just a prince. He is also called the master of visualization. Please write that down. Jacob is called the master of visualization. Isaac, his father, is called the father of consolidation. Abraham, Isaac's father, is called the father of charity. These are things that the other planet told me. That's what I'm telling you. I don't read it from a book or from anybody's video. These are my own personal stuff. Don't steal my stuff. If not, I'll come after you. Jacob is called the master of visualization. Because after Laban had treated him so wrong, he still found his voice to talk to his two wives, Rachel and Leah. And also, that wasn't enough. He also broke into the heavenlies and told God about what is happening. How can I be of this age with these children you've given to me and 4 wives, and I don't have no money? I don't have no material resources. Many of you think that God exists for prayer, because that's what you've been trained to do, that God just exists for worship and for prayer. You have no idea what you're dealing with. God exists for all of that, but there is a very big chunk of why God exists for us. God is the energy source. He is like the gas station where we go to gas up our car. Go and read what God said to Adam and Eve after creation, or what he said to the animal world, or the world of creatures. He never asked any of them, worship me. Worship and prayer is not part of the deal. He said, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, subdue, replenish, and that's it. Rule, that's the word for all that grammar. Rule. That's what he said. You are a ruler. You are a builder. You are a co-creator like me. Go and see what he told Abraham. Worship and prayer is not part of it. If you will go is number one. Go. Then I will build you nations. I will build nations through you. Then you will be blessed. Look at the entire thing. There's nothing there about worship and prayer. Which brings us to this. The Bible is a book for business people. It's not a book for dumbs and dummies and dumbos. It's not a book for the dumbs, the dummies, and the dumbos. It's the manual encyclopedia for people who want to survive this earth, who already have a transaction, a relationship. They have already consolidated their place in the heavenlies, in the other planet. And now their job is to live the fullness of life, L-I-V-E, to have the fullness of life on earth. Heaven is not where you are going to have the fullness of life. The fullness of life begins now. Because you're already born again, you're already spirit-filled. So your job is to pursue material resources and money while worship is at the center. Worship and prayer is at the center of it at the same time. Your job is not to pursue God and just let yourself go. That's not what you are called to do. Because everything God spoke, the blessing is not about spiritual thing. Let's face it. The blessing is not a spiritual thing. The blessing is a physical thing. It's a material thing. It's a money thing. It's a position thing. It's a power thing. So many of you think of the blessing and favor as something that has to do with the spiritual. That's not true. It has to do with the material and financial. It has to do with houses. It has to do with having the best of luxury so that you can be a ruler. So have you found your voice yet? Have you found your power yet? Because Joseph found it. He did not allow what happened to him to make him lose his voice. That's why when the cupbearer and the baker were leaving the jail, he said to them, he did not say that they should speak to the lesser people. He said, speak to Pharaoh. Are you listening? Jacob did not want to deal with people below the guy at the top. Your job is to mingle with the man or the woman at the top. Period. Why? Because that's where power and money and material resources flows from. Go and read the Bible. Joseph found his voice to speak and said, can you speak to me? Can you speak on my behalf to the guy in charge of the entire nation? That's the person that I am interested in having relationship with. Not these other mediocres who cannot help me. Esther mingled with the guy that was in charge of the king's house, the harem, etc. He also was in charge of treasures. And that was the person that Esther mingled with, not with the other girls. Who are you mingling with? Who are you spending time mingling with? spending your life for nothing. At the age of 50, 60, 70, you realize that you wasted your life for nothing. Doing boyfriend and girlfriend and marriage and having babies. All these are good, but you will discover that you've not enjoyed life. You don't have the blessing. You don't have the favor, because the study of money and material resources should come immediately after you get born again and spirit-filled. But nobody has told you that. That's why whether this year or next year, we are going to have a week-long ministration paid for. Paid campaign for you to learn about money, how money works. I'm not talking about you being a banker or a chartered accountant or whatever that you learn a degree from. We are talking about money as a raw material, as a tool. It's not a college degree work. Because majority of people who are the richest on the earth don't have no degrees. If you're already money smart, then you have a degree, then you even become better. Esther asked that man and said, what do the king like? How should I do things? How do a lady dress? How do a lady talk? How do a queen behave? And that man began to teach her. Naomi found her voice. Ruth found her voice. And they found their power. You know someone's power by listening to what they say. And the story of Naomi and Ruth is different today. In spite of what David suffered, he found his voice. He found his place. He found his power. Who has taken away? Who is trying to shut you down? Who is trying to shut you up? Who is trying to diminish you? Who is painting a negative picture about you? If you notice any human being is critical about you, dump that person immediately. Any human being that is critical about you, don't spend your time calling me to talk to me about all the lesser things. I want you to call me to talk about investment and material resources. Rich folks do not spend their life talking about how witches. Do you see wealthy people talking about what witches and wizards are doing against them? Or talking about their enemies? They don't have time for that. Why? Because they are focused. Why is it that witches and warlords and the occult and all these people do not attack rich folks? Why? They are focused on their money, they are focused on their services, they are focused on their product, and they have no time for that. And when you don't have time for those things, you only have time for what you are focused on. Even Lucifer will be afraid of you and will leave you alone. Because you have no time to think about those things. So they don't have time for you. Find your voice. Find your place. Find your power. And that was the ministry of Jesus, to help you find your voice, find your place, find your power. That's why he was able to say to you that you can talk to mountains. You can tell mountains to be removed. How long is it going to take before you learn that you are able to do supernatural things? That super beings are not just demons and fallen angels and alien forces. That you are also a super being. Your spirit is a super being. When are you going to learn that? My job is to train you on how to be a super being. That's my job. You are to become more of a super being than just a mere human being. You already have what it takes to be a super being, because you're already a spirit, and you are not going to be anything more or less than a spirit. Because spirit you came, and spirit you return. Spirit you came, and spirit you will ever be. So you must find your voice. Don't let anybody silence you. Because everything that is happening around you is to silence you. Everything that is happening around you is to stop you. Everything that is happening around you is to make you to become a Dumbo. To become a dummy Dumbo. And I don't want you to be that. You cannot be no one's dummy. Don't allow anybody to shut you down. Your words are powerful. Use your words. Use your money to fight battles. Use your money for warfare. When you send your tithes, your offerings, when you send your special seeds, they are used to speak on your behalf. They are legal things. Let me share something that is very sad for you to hear. Heaven talked to me this week, and this is what they told me. 99.5% of every human being that call my ministry are looking for money to spend. Only 1% of everyone who calls me, or who are my covenant partners, or in my small circle of friends, only 1% are looking for money for investments. The rest are looking for money to spend. And that's a sad thing. And I began to go through each person that has ever called my ministry. And I realized what they are telling me is true. Majority of people who calls our ministry and who call other ministries are looking for money to spend. They are not looking for money for investment. They are not even interested in investment. Nothing. They just want money to spend. And that is it. And that is sad. And those who are looking for money to spend can never become rich. Mary, please write that down. Those who are looking for money to spend can never become rich. Somebody called me quarreling with me that I don't have no time. Calling him. I have not called him for almost 2 months. A man called me to criticize me that I have not called. I told him, if I call you, if I pay your plane ticket for you to come and sit down and do what I do in a day, you only spend 1 hour and you run away. You think that I have time? If I call anybody or pick up my phone to talk to anybody, know that it's very important. Why? Because I have so much things that have been loaded with that I have to do. Because it's not funny that I will go back to heaven. I've not done half of what I was sent here to do. I'm studying how to do what I'm doing, how to do it well. Every 7 years, I have to take a break. And I have to look at everything I've done all my life to see how I can do it better. And some people are not happy with that. Because they want me to end up like the rest of them, trash. And I'm not willing. So if you feel that because I've not called you, and you are mad at me, you can go to hell. Because it shows that you are not smart. It shows that you are not wise. It shows that you don't understand business. It shows that you don't understand focus and detail. It shows that you just want money to spend. You don't want the investment. There's a place where people can call you for you guys to chat. Then there's a place where people should just give you space for you to be productive, to be progressive, to produce things that is going to help them forever. If not, your years will go by and you ask yourself, what did I do? Nothing. Many of you will regret when your children have grown and gone, and you will see that you have nothing. Many of you will reach the age of 70 and you will realize that you have done nothing, you got nothing, and you are going nowhere. And at the end that you are nothing. And you'll still be in church. And God did not call you to church. He called you to prosperity. God didn't call you to church. He called you to the blessing. He did not call you to church. He called you to favor. He didn't call you to pursue miracles or prayer or worship. He called you to pursue the blessings and the favor while miracles and worship and prayer are already part of you. And many of you are pampering your children. You're pampering your children. You are too soft. You can't stand up to them. You can't stand up to your husband. You can't stand up to your wife. You can't stand up to your family. You can't stand up to your friends. Because you've lost your voice while trying to play daddy and a mommy, trying to play uncle and parent. You can't stand up for what is just and make your children stand on their own feet and pursue their own life. And these are things that God is showing me. My job is to make you withdraw so that you can give people a chance for them to become something. If you don't want to become something, don't block other people from becoming something. Some of us, we want to become somebody. Don't block us. Definition of witchcraft and the occult is you don't want to move and go nowhere, and you don't want others to go nowhere. And that's why Jesus cursed the Sadducees and the Pharisees. They don't want to enter the kingdom, and they don't want other people to enter either. Or either. Some of us, we don't want to play. We don't want to play. We want to plant. There's a difference between planting and playing. If you want to be a beggar tomorrow, keep playing. If you want to be rich tomorrow, keep planting and planning and planting. People have beaten you to the point that you've lost your voice. You can't stand up for yourself. You've lost your place. You've lost your power. What the heck? When are you going to be a real solid Christian? When are you going to open the Bible and see the other side of the Bible that this is a book for champions? It's not a book for mediocres. And that is why Jesus said only few people enter heaven. God doesn't want when money problems arises, you don't have money. A house suddenly become vacant that you should be the first person to buy. Everybody out of your street, you don't have money. Do you know how painful it is to me that I don't have the money to buy the things I want to buy, the houses I want to own for the ministry? And I'm going to call on some of you very soon to invest in houses with me. Not just a clubhouse for the ministry, but for the business. So that you guys can have money forever. It's not what pastors do. They want to drive the best car, fly the best jet, own the best limo, and the church members own nothing. That's not who I am. God has tried me and found me worthy when it comes to money and material resources. When it comes to being a loving person, a good person, a kind person, a patient person, God has found me to be number one. I'm good at it. If my parents taught me what I knew today, where would I not have been? Most of our parents never teach us anything. Nothing about relationship, nothing about money, nothing about investment. They bring you out, they feed you, send you to school, and that's all. I want to produce savvy, top-class businessmen and women. When certain businesses become vacant, they want to sell it, we buy it. How can a Korean man who lost so much billions bounce back? Did not lose his voice. Many of us, you lose $1,000, you are done. You don't want to do it anymore. This guy was watching him on Bloomberg. He lost a lot of millions, I think 7 billions. Oh, please, not millions. About 7 billions, I think so. About 7 billions. and he bounces back. Every cell phone you have today has his chip in it. He didn't sit back. Joseph became the governor of Egypt. Why? He refused to back down. He refused to allow problem to make him settle. I am not willing to settle with any human being who is not willing to move with me, who is not sympathetic, who does not sympathize with the pain that I'm bearing to build you. I want those who want to work. I'm looking for super big in reality. And you are going to be one of them if you so much want it. If you want to sit down there and blame yourself and be ashamed of life and cry, then you are not going to go nowhere. I saw a man in California when I used to live in Santa Cruz. This man lost everything in his business. And when I was talking to him, he was laughing. I told him, you were supposed to be crying. Say, of what use is crying that I lost this much money? And while he was talking to me, he told me I am planning to be at the bank tomorrow to discuss with them about a new business that I'm going to be starting. And that man bounced back within 2 months. A nice, elderly, white gentleman. He bounced back. And I was just learning. Another one started a gas station. From the money from that gas station, he bought 3 houses while I was in California. That's the man who taught me gas station business. I know gas station business. When the money comes into my hand, you will see I'm going to own them. There's a place I want to reach that when I walk into a bank, I say I'm looking for 54 million US dollars. They will give it to me because they know that I'm serious. I'm gonna invest it. And I don't want money to spend. I want money to invest. I want the bank to make money off me, and I want to make money off them. I want to stop here tonight. Tomorrow we will continue. But find your voice. It's about time. Stop that pity party. This is not the time for it. You've not suffered anything. What you've suffered is little to be compared to what people suffered in Bible times. In ancient times, if you see what people suffered, and yet they built pyramids. Go and look at the history of the Sumerians, the Egyptians, the histories of Greek, Romans, ancient Europe, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Africans, the Chinese, the Japanese. Go and look at their histories. The ancient Indian culture. Go and see what they built. And in my generation that I have computer, I have a cell phone, I have bank, I have an ice cream shop. I have somewhere where I can take my little daughter and go and buy her balloons and flowers and get her all the healthy candies she wants. In today's world that there is video games, apps, cars, trains, airplanes, jobs, electricity, ships, trains. You want to tell me with the kind of healthy body I have now, I have never been this healthy in all of my life. I have also never been this beautiful and lovely in all of my life. You mean to tell me that I will not build with some of you who are a coalition of the willing, that I will not build an empire, or you will not? Only if you agree. If you want to be defeated, that's what you want. Jesus says, Let him who has ears hear what the Spirit is saying. Because many of you think that God is only going to ask you to account for your sins, because that's what many of you are interested in, is sins. You don't have an idea that the greatest beating you are going to receive, both on earth and in the heavenlies, is your refusal to learn about money, to discover your destiny, your assignment. And your assignment has nothing to do with spiritual things. Your assignment has to do with natural things that you should do to make money and create wealth and help God build the kingdom. We are here to help God. Why? Because God is here to help us. When you are willing, when you are ready, the connections will begin. If you want to make contact with me, go to our website, www.idikaimeri.com. There are channels that will be coming to you. Idika Imeri Radio is coming. And the American Spiritual Guide as a channel in the internet is coming. My comedy show is coming. I'm just taking it one day at a time. And what I mean by one day at a time, I mean I'm taking it one thing, I finish, then I go to another thing. And then Idika Imeri books, they are coming. So get ready. Remember that this September, October, especially October, November, December, we've entered into a campaign to raise funds. Participate in giving to the ministry. I will be praying for you from this time till the beginning of next year if you participate in giving. Send a generous offering that shows respect and honor to God for us to begin the year with you. Establish your position next year. Do it now. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.